The victims of the ambush on the U.S.-Mexico border were all members of a large Mormon community whose roots in northern Mexico go back a century. Most are descended from a single founder, Alma Lilibaron. He moved his family south of the border to live as polygamists in the 1900s after the U.S. criminalized the practice of plural marriage and the mainstream Mormon church abandoned it. In the 1940s, he began building Colonia Líbaron, what would become a sprawling colony in Lامora, Mexico, housing his many wives and children. In Mexico, the family created a new Mormon faction named the Church of the Firstborn of the Fullness of Times. One of Alma Lilibaron's sons, Lilibaron, eventually split from the sect to form his own church, the Lamb of God. He and his followers became infamous in the 1970s after it was discovered Herbal had his brother Joel murdered and linked to the killings of several others in the U.S. and Mexico. He was convicted and later died in a Utah prison. Herbal's brother Joel had taken over as leader of the colony before he was killed. After his gruesome end, Joel's many children and relatives continued the colony. For decades, they grew quietly, working mostly as farmers and relative peace. But when organized crime began to flourish in Mexico, the Lilibarons' comparative wealth made them targets of extortion and kidnapping. In 2009, Joel's grandson became known for his opposition to Mexico's drug cartels and their kidnappings. He refused to pay a $1 million ransom when his younger brother was kidnapped and pushed the local community to take a stand against violence. Though his brother was later released, Benjamin Lilibaron and his brother-in-law were killed shortly after they had been dragged from their home, beaten, and executed. Now, a decade after their murder, a massacre by unknown assailants in a region marred by violence and ruled by drug gangs.